You didn't get here by accident. There is a secret that Thoth has kept for millennia, a code that allows you to speak to the universe and make it respond. And in this video, I will show you exactly how it works. But pay attention. 99% of people can't use this secret because they vibrate the wrong energy without even realizing it. Today you will discover how to break this block, and if you stay until the end, I will give you an essential ritual that transforms thoughts and gestures into real commands, capable of bending reality around you. This is not theory, this is practice, this is transformation, and if you walk with us until the last second, you will understand why the universe will never ignore you again. Before we begin, if you also feel that the universe has brought you here for a specific reason, then hit the like button now. This is not just any video. This is a meeting, and your like will be the signal that you are already inside the circle. And if you want to stay close to this vibration and support the birth of new awakening content, you can subscribe to the channel. Every gesture of support fuels the spread of this precious knowledge. The universe is not outside you. Look inside. Everything you desire, you already are. The huge mistake that almost everyone makes is happening right now. As you listen to me, as you breathe, as you feel, it is not a matter of whether you want it or not. It is already installed. And that is why, even without realizing it, even when you think you are manifesting something positive, your energy is sending a completely different message to the universe. Imagine someone sitting with their eyes closed, mentally repeating, "I am prosperous, I am prosperous, I am prosperous." They want to believe it, they want to convince themselves. But behind the words, there is a tightness in the chest, a hidden fear, a feeling that it is not true. And that is exactly what the universe picks up on. It is useless to say 1,000 positive sentences if you feel lack, insecurity, anger, or despair inside you. Because in this game, the rule is clear. The universe does not respond to what you say. It responds to what you vibrate. And vibration is not uplifting poetry. Vibration is the raw and honest sum of what you feel as you live, as you breathe, as you react to what happens in your daily life. When you think, "I want a new job, I want abundance, I want true love," but your energy is full of doubts, the signal you send is, "I don't have it, I don't deserve it, I don't trust." And the universe, this great mechanical mirror, responds to that command without hesitation. It doesn't interpret hidden intentions. It doesn't read hidden thoughts. It simply amplifies what you put out. Think about all the times you thought you were doing everything right, thinking positively, visualizing, imagining, but then you saw the same negative patterns repeating themselves, the same difficult boss, the same complicated relationship, the same financial struggle that seemed to never end. That wasn't bad luck, it wasn't punishment, it was the exact response to the vibrational field you were maintaining without realizing it. And here's the scariest detail. Most people go through their entire lives without realizing that they are fueling the cycle. They ask for one thing with words and prayers, but they live in a constant state of fear and lack. And the universe simply responds to the dominant frequency, not the superficial request. Do you want to know why so many negative coincidences happen in sequence? It's not because the universe wants to bring you down, it's because inadvertently you reinforce the negative pattern every time you react with fear, every time you expect the worst, every time you hold on to the old mental script that says, "This will never work." The universe doesn't judge you, it just reflects. Imagine a mirror. It won't give you a smile if you're frowning. It won't hug you if you're crossed arms. It only reflects what is put in front of it. And when your vibration is contaminated by fear, insecurity, lack, it simply amplifies that reflection. Not because it's cruel, but because it works by resonance. It's physics, not morality. And what no one has told you is that this field doesn't fix itself. It doesn't change just because you want it to. It has to be consciously reprogrammed. Because right now, even now as you listen to me, there are forces inside your body that are sabotaging your intentions. And it doesn't matter what you want. They operate on a deep, almost automatic level. They bring you back to old vibrational patterns, and that will rock your inner world when you understand how it works. These forces inside you, these invisible gears that bring your energy back to old patterns, have a name. But beware. Yes, what you focus on every day, what you mentally immerse yourself in without even realizing it, is not just a pastime. It is a vow, a vibrational command, a code that insinuates itself into the fabric of your reality and begins to shape everything around you. Every time you let your thoughts drift toward painful memories, every time you mentally revisit a conversation that hurt you, every time you give in to imagined scenarios of fear or failure, you are not just thinking, you are programming. This may sound like an exaggeration, but it isn't, because attention on an energetic level is a precious currency. It's as if every second you mentally devote to something is feeding an invisible machine. And this machine doesn't care if you think about it because you love it or hate it, if you're fixated because you want to solve it or because you can't let go of it. It only understands the command. Nourish this, multiply it, make it more present, and almost cruelly, reality begins to conspire not to help you, but to reinforce the very thing that's consuming your energy. Imagine this. You read an aggressive message on social media, and instead of letting it go, you keep replaying it in your head all day. You relive the irritation. You reinforce the pain. Without knowing it, you're investing energy in a pattern. And it's not just psychological, it's vibrational. You've transformed a simple isolated event into a dense block of energy. And the universe, which responds to density and resonance, begins to align similar situations in your path. This is the real danger of mental loops. Now let's go further. Think about how the current culture exploits this mechanism. Social media, news, scandal cycles, everything is designed to capture your attention, to lock your focus on the very stories that drain you, that empty you, that keep you in a constant state of alert. Not because there is a personal intent against you, but because attention is worth money, influence, control. And while you think you are simply staying informed, keeping up with the world, in reality you are allowing your energy to be sucked away and redirected towards agendas that have nothing to do with your real life. The myth of innocent thought begins to crumble here. There is no such thing as neutral thought. There is no such thing as harmless attention. Everything you focus on is gaining weight, shape, influence. And this is true for what you desire and what you fear. In fact, especially for what you fear, because fear is an incredibly powerful magnetic glue. It grabs your focus, it chains your gaze, it transforms small worries into gigantic monsters that dominate the field of your consciousness. And as you rationally try to push them away without realizing it, you are giving them even more energy. But here is the point that almost no one dares to touch: how to break this cycle, how to stop being a slave to your own mind, your own focus, your own patterns. It is not enough to say think positive. It is not enough to try to force a good thought on a polluted internal scenario. There is a specific code, a key that must be turned in the right place for the loops to finally begin to disintegrate. And few spiritual teachers have dared to teach it directly, because it requires something deeper than just words. The first Hermetic key: how to stop sending contradictory signals. Now we come to the first big key, the one that few see even after learning the importance of attention, vibration, and signals. Because here's the secret: manifesting is not about asking, manifesting is not about waiting, manifesting is not about begging the universe to give you what you want. Manifesting is about becoming, right now, in this very moment, the version of you that is already living what you want. It is about embodying. It is about vibrating as if it were already real. This is not a cheap mental trick. It is not an internal psychological game. We are talking about a deep vibrational reprogramming that changes the way you breathe, the way you walk, the way you make small decisions in your daily life. A classic and powerful example comes from Neville Goddard, one of the greatest masters of manifestation of the last century. Neville didn't just talk about imagining positive things. He practiced it with almost surgical precision. When he wanted to go back to Barbados for Christmas with no money or ticket, he didn't just sit and wish. He closed his eyes at night and imagined the sound of the waves, the smell of the island air, the feel of the sand under his feet. He was mentally falling asleep while still in Barbados, even though he was physically still in New York. The most amazing detail is not that he got the ticket, it's the way he did it, without anxiety. He wasn't begging, he wasn't thinking, someday, maybe, if I'm lucky. It was already there. It felt very real. And that's the thing that changes everything. The universe doesn't respond to what you hope for in the future. It responds to what you embody now. You see, when you say, I want to be rich, the universe hears, I'm not. When you think, someday I'll find true love, the universe interprets, I don't have it now. But when you vibrate and breathe and act as if you're already living it, as if it's already yours, the energy field around you starts to shift. Little choices change. Little details in the way you look at life change. And those details are magnetic. They start to attract new realities. This isn't magic, it's resonance. Here is a simple and powerful exercise. Before you go to sleep, close your eyes and imagine not only the final scene of what you want, but the path. How would you wake up if you had already achieved your goal? What would your posture be? How would you walk? What decisions would you make? What would your attitude be? You would start living differently, even if nothing had changed externally yet. And that change in attitude is the seed of external change. Because when you become before you have, the universe understands that reality is already installed, and it rearranges the rest to fit. And this is where most people stumble. Not because they don't understand the idea, not because they don't believe in the power of vibration, but because their own body cannot sustain the necessary vibrational state. You can have the most disciplined mind, you can repeat beautiful affirmations every morning, you can visualize the best scenes at night before you sleep. But if your physical body vibrates on another level, it contaminates the entire energy field. It drags you down like an invisible magnet. This is not empty spirituality, it is pure biochemistry. Think of your body as an antenna. It is not enough to have good intentions if the antenna is broken or full of interference. And what are these interferences? What you consume every day without realizing it. Heavy food loaded with processed ingredients, excessive sugars, artificial products. They poison not only the body but also the subtle field. It is like trying to pick up a clear transmission with a rusty radio. It may even work, but the hiss will cover the message. On top of that, there's the environmental factor. You can have the best intentions, but if you live surrounded by negative stimuli, constant noise, visual chaos, relationships that drain you, the frequency you're trying to maintain starts to wear away. It's like holding a glass of water full and trying not to spill it while everyone around you is shaking your hand. There comes a point where no matter how focused you are, the vibration slips away. Another detail that almost no one considers is the pace of modern life. People live trapped in tight schedules, full agendas, endless demands. They wake up with their hearts already racing, already thinking about what they have to solve, what will go wrong, what they have to control. This pace generates an internal state of chronic tension, and chronic tension does not align with high vibration. A body that is constantly on alert, wasting energy to deal with real or imagined threats cannot sustain a clean transmission to the universe. Now, here is a point that even science is starting to confirm. Sun exposure, conscious breathing, living foods. All this is not just advice for physical health. It is an energetic recalibration. The sun, for example, activates biological processes that influence the production of serotonin, dopamine, melatonin, regulating mood, sleep, sense of well-being. A mind that does not sleep well, that does not connect to natural light, that lives artificially, begins to operate in a field of noise that blocks vibrational clarity. The same goes for breathing. Most people breathe poorly. They breathe shallowly, quickly, disconnectedly. They don't know that the simple act of prolonging the breath, of connecting the movement of the air with body awareness, can immediately change the energy field around them. This is not esotericism, it is cardiac coherence, it is regulation of the autonomic nervous system, it is biofeedback. When you learn to breathe consciously, you regain control that seemed lost. And of course, food comes into play not as dietary moralism, but as vibrational intelligence. Live foods, full of solar energy, bring a cleaner and stronger electromagnetic field. Eating this does not only mean nourishing the body, but tuning the signal, reducing the noise, strengthening the antenna. See how everything is connected? It is not enough to want to change from the inside if what you offer your body sabotages the field continuously. But there is something even deeper, something that few people understand, even after correcting their diet, breathing, and environment. There is an ancient secret hidden in gestures, in the hands, in the body, as a direct transmitter of energy. A code that Thoth knew and taught, but that few modern practitioners actually apply. And that is what we will begin to unravel in the next part, because that is where you will discover how to use not only your mind, but your entire body as an instrument for vibrational manifestation. Thoth's lost code for charging and directing energy. Imagine that until now, everything you have learned about manifestation, energy, and vibration was only the surface. You may have heard of positive thinking, meditation, visualization, but the Hermetic master held a much deeper secret. Something that few people imagine today: the body is the key. The body not only as a container or instrument, but as a living transmitter, a high-precision instrument to directly move the vibrational field around you. And the hands in particular are the antennas that activate this process. Look at your hands right now. Feel every line, every palm, every fingertip. Have you ever considered them as more than just mechanical instruments? They are direct extensions of your energy field. According to Thoth, every gesture you make, every touch you create, every intention you channel through your hands generates a unique vibrational signature. We are not talking about superstition. We are talking about a vibrational code that has spanned millennia, capable of moving energy from the inside out and vice versa. Let's go into detail. When you rub your palms together, you generate heat. But it is not just physical heat. It is energetic friction. A field begins to form there, between the fingers, in the lines of the palm, pulsating, vibrating. When you move your hands slightly apart, even just a few inches, you feel something subtle, almost imperceptible to the naked eye, but intense in sensation. A pressure, a slight resistance, a pulsation. That is your energy in action, and this is where Thoth's secret begins to reveal itself. He taught that by using specific gestures, you could amplify intentions. For example, if you want to solidify a powerful decision, place your hands on your solar plexus, that point just above your stomach, the center of your personal power. Hold them there, feeling the heat gather. This gesture is not an empty symbol. It directly activates the energy center responsible for command and action. If instead you want to open space to receive, raise your arms to the sky, with your palms open like antennas looking for a signal. In that moment, your entire body becomes a receiving station, ready to pick up new frequencies. And if you want to seal a decision, close a cycle, make a commitment, clench your fists with intention, feeling the energy circulate and condense, transforming into a vibrational promise. All this must be done with awareness, because it is not enough to repeat gestures mechanically. The secret is in the combination of intention, movement, and sensation. When you think, feel, and move your body at the same time, you create such a powerful alignment that the universe responds not as a coincidence, but as an inevitable response. The body becomes the instrument that transforms thoughts into clear, vibrational commands. This code was not meant to remain confined to ancient texts. It was meant to be lived, experienced, felt. And that is why so few people access this power today, because they live disconnected from their bodies. They are trapped in their minds, in their words, in their distractions. They forget that their hands are not just flesh and blood, but direct interfaces with the universal energy field. That is when the universe really starts to respond, and the synchronicities explode. And that is where many people give up before they cross the line, because it is not enough to understand the body as an antenna. It is not enough to practice conscious gestures for a few days and expect the universe to change instantly. Thoth knew this, and the ancients knew this. Real change requires consistency. That's why the 30-day protocol exists, a practical system created not to sound good or serve as an emotional placebo, but to completely recalibrate your vibrational field, clear the noise accumulated over the years, and install a new frequency that the universe immediately recognizes. Imagine waking up on the first day of this protocol, and before you touch your phone, before you dive into the chaos outside, stepping out into natural light, with the sun on your face, eyes relaxed, skin exposed. This isn't just for vitamin D. It's a vibrational transmission between you and the solar field, the energy source that fuels all life on Earth. This simple act, repeated every day, begins to regulate biological rhythms, hormones. The body's magnetic field is magnetic. In a few days, your internal clock resets. Now add to this mindful breathing, not that rush breath you take without realizing it, but a specific pattern. Inhale for a count of 4, hold for 7, exhale for 8. This sequence has been studied by both the ancient masters and modern science. It regulates the nervous system, calms the mind, aligns the vibrational field, and in the protocol, this breath is not a footnote, it is the foundation. Food also plays a crucial role. Live, fresh, colorful foods full of solar energy. No ultra-processed packaged dead products. Every cell of yours is nourished by what you put on your plate. Eating dead food generates dead energy. Eating living food generates a living field. It seems simple, and it is, but few maintain it. And then by the 10th day, the first changes begin. Your body feels lighter, your mind less cluttered, your intuition sharper. By day 15, things are getting serious. You notice that certain old habits are no longer your thing. That automatic urge to scroll through social media for hours disappears. Empty conversations irritate you more than ever. Your body wants movement, and not for aesthetics, not for obligation, but because the energy that builds up inside you demands release, expression, action. By day 21, the transformation reaches a point of no return. Synchronicity begins to appear. People you haven't seen in years reappear with unexpected messages. A book falls off the shelf at the exact moment you're thinking of an answer. An opportunity emerges from an unlikely place. It's not magic. It's not coincidence. It's resonance. You've tuned your field so long, so consistently, that now external reality has no choice. It must respond. But only those who are ready get here. Only those who follow the protocol day after day, even when it seems hard, even when there are no visible results, are the ones who break through the veil. They reach the point where reality begins to bend, because we are no longer talking about small internal changes here. We are talking about tangible, concrete results, answers that appear almost out of nowhere but have been planted in each of those 30 days. And it is at this exact point that the universe begins to speak to you out loud. Synchronicities explode. You think of someone, and they call. You talk about an old dream, and suddenly, someone mentions a related opportunity. You walk down the street and encounter a sign so specific that it can no longer be ignored. It's not luck, it's alignment. It's the field that gives you back exactly what you installed. The most impressive part is realizing that these answers don't come to those who have only experimented out of curiosity, to those who have tried for a few days and then stopped. They come to those who have dedicated themselves completely, to those who have gone through the ups and downs of the process, to those who have accepted the transformation, because energy tourists don't reap these results. Only those who plant a definitive flag in their field begin to see the universe respond with almost surgical precision. How to command energy with your hands and change the field around you. And this is where the big leap happens. The moment when you stop being just a curious visitor in this energy field and decide to plant your feet, become a resident, take your place as a conscious co-creator of your reality. Up until now, you may have been experimenting with vibrations, doing exercises, following protocols, but there comes a point when all of this is no longer enough. There comes a moment when it is no longer about looking for signs from the universe, but about being the sign yourself, vibrating so aligned, so coherently. Reality has no choice but to rearrange itself around you. You begin to realize that there is no more room to go in and out of this state. Depending on your mood, the problems that arise, the tiredness you feel, there is no more middle ground. It is a point of no return. Either you inhabit this energy as your new home, or you will continue to go round in circles in the cycle of trying, testing, getting frustrated, and giving up. And this is where most people get lost, because taking up this vibrational resonance means living as if you already were, always. Not just in the morning, inspired, not just in moments of mindful practice, but in simple conversations, in small choices, in quiet hours, even in challenges. When you decide to be the signal, every step you take, every look, every word carries a clear vibrational signature. You are no longer waiting for the miracle. You are the miracle in motion. You are no longer testing whether something works. You already know that it works because you feel it in your body, because you notice it in the details, because you carry the belief not as a theory, but as a living frequency. And the universe, when it encounters this stable field, responds not with timid echoes, but with strength, precision, opportunities that seem to appear from nowhere, because you have become a constant vibrational magnet. But to seal this transformation, there is one last step, a circle that must be closed, the ritual of the energetic command. This is not a simple external ritual made of empty movements or memorized words. It is a profound encounter between body, mind, and energy, where the hands, those vibrational antennas forgotten by most, return to play their essential role. In this ritual, the focus is total. You begin by activating your hands, rubbing them until they generate heat, feeling the energy pulsating between them. This heat is not just physical, it awakens the awareness of what has always been there, ready to be used. With charged hands, you learn to direct this energy. On your heart, you send commands of emotional alignment. On the solar plexus, you strengthen decisions and intentions. On the head, you clear mental patterns, open space for new ideas. Every gesture counts. Raise your arms upward, not as if beseeching, but as if declaring, I receive, I command, I claim. Clench your fists with intention, sealing a vibrational commitment that doesn't depend on words, only on presence. Move your hands around your body, noticing the energy fields that once went unnoticed, now enlivened by your command. In this process, what Thoth taught is revealed with crystal clarity. It's not enough to know the codes. You must practice them in your body, feel them in your blood, codify them in your daily action. Only then does the field around you bend. Only then do the synchronicities multiply. Only then does life begin to revolve around your new vibrational center. And when you complete this ritual, there is no going back. You are no longer someone who simply thinks about energy. You have become the field itself, the transmitter, the vibrational creator. And the next step now is to go even deeper, because there are deeper levels waiting to be unlocked, levels that can be activated at the next level of this journey. And if this journey has resonated deeply, leave your like now to strengthen this frequency and help the message reach those who are still looking for it. Write the word open source in the comments. It will be your personal seal to declare to the universe that you are ready to receive without any more resistance. Subscribe to the channel now and walk with us on this path that is not only made of words, but of real transformations. I hope that every step of yours from today is a living dialogue with the invisible, and that life surprises you just when you least expect it. I hug you and see you soon.